A while ago, I was given a copyright strike by Shueisha, except it was an imposter from a Gmail account. After all, what kind of company this large uses a standard Gmail account when they could just use a business one? I'm also not the first YouTuber who had to put up with this fake Shueisha, as Anime Uproar pointed out, in a thread made in December of 2019, before the world went to hell with the fullness of a pandemic. The thread went far into 2020 and even had entries in 2022. Before I go further, let's explain the difference between a copyright claim and a copyright strike. A copyright strike is when someone, per se a Shueisha impersonator, submits a complete and valid legal takedown request, Team YouTube's words, not mine. Copyright claims, also known as Content ID claims, are automatic claims made by YouTube's idiotic robot. Strikes are worse than claims because 3 of them will get your channel deleted. As far as I'm concerned, YouTube bears the brunt of the blame for how poorly this entire joke of a system is set up. Let's say you get a Content ID claim like The Cynical Historian. If you notice, it's not any organization who broadcasted the speech that claimed it, like NBC or Fox or MSNBC. It's some random channel called Diagonal View. I swear, these income thieves are getting less and less creative with their names because they know YouTube won't do anything about them. Yes, YouTube, do tell us about how you are careful in selecting who gets to use the Content ID bot. And do tell us about how you monitor Content ID use. And YouTube still treats Diagonal View as the copyright owner. Give me a break. And this isn't the first time Cypher had to deal with nonsense from Team YouTube. Apparently, a German record label or someone pretending to be a record label tried to Content ID the freaking Day of Infamy speech by FDR. A public domain speech from the US National Archives isn't the dumbest thing I've seen Content ID used on. No, no, no. Other creators have been beaten with a dumber sledgehammer. The E note on the piano is claimed by someone. I. I. What? Someone's voice was also claimed. Yes, apparently you can't own your own voice and you don't even need to sign it over. And this one is my favorite story. A guy uploads something to YouTube in 2017. A&E used it for a show 1 year later. TF1, the French conglomerate with contracts with A&E, proceeds to claim the video. After a YouTuber files the dispute with TF1, TF1 rejected it, basically saying they owned it. And that's the crux of this entire issue. Get Content ID'd, YouTube forces you to ask the person who made the claim very nicely to release the claim. Get a strike, it's even worse. You can either contact the false claimant and ask nicely, or you can submit a counter notification where you would have to fork over your legal name, phone number, and address. Rub 2 brain cells together and think about it for just 2 seconds. Team YouTube expects us to trust people who pretend to be companies to be nice to you and release the strike, which they won't. Or they expect you to fork over personal information to fraudulent copyright strike factories. At every single twist and turn, Team YouTube always chooses to let the claimant make any judgment over what constitutes their product. This is the equivalent of a burglar breaking into your home, and assuming the burglar isn't dead by the end of the break-in, then you and the burglar go to court. And then the burglar is the judge who decides how much of your home that the idiot gets to keep. Call me an Eeyore. It would take a large channel or a corporate channel to speak out about this stupid system. We know from the Logan Paul incident that YouTube is more than willing to cover the hides of the channels that are large enough to draw a massive audience to the website. But a corporate channel speaking out against the YouTube's stupid copyright system isn't going to happen. Team YouTube set up the system to favor the claimant by making them the judge of everything. The only way I could see them actually doing anything about this stupid system is if the corporations became hostile to YouTube themselves. Like if these channels got targeted by copyright claim and strike abusers and taken down by Team YouTube because, let's face it, YouTube is just that inept, I don't see anything changing. Like, the pessimist inside me said, Team YouTube would just make copyright striking and claiming for smaller channels harder, because why not? After all, we're not the guys in suits. Thank you for listening to my rant. Consider subscribing and maybe tip me on Ko-fi.